We are reading from Isopanisad mantra 1. Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjitha magridach kasya svidhanam. Here translation. Everything, animate or inanimate, that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, known well to whom they belong. Knowing well to whom they belong. So here, to remind ourselves that Swami Manu is a rishi to whom this mantra is revealed. He was doing austerities and he chanted these mantras. This is described in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, and later on we will see Madhvācārya quotes Brahmanda Purana also. It tells the same thing, that these mantras were chanted by Swami Manu. And he is the progenitor, he is Prajapati. He speaks to his sons and daughters. And he tells them at the beginning of creation, because Brahma is created, the rishis are created, Manasaputas from Brahma, and Shiva came into existence and all others, and came in manifest. And then Brahma still couldn't fill the universe. Then from his mind, Prajapatis are born. And then the Prajapatis actually do the job. They create all the living entities. So Manu, the leader of men, you may say, he speaks to his daughters and sons, and Prabhupada explained in purport that he speaks to all of us. He says that this is the thing. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. Isha, Supreme Lord, Isha, by the Lord, avasyam, is controlled. Idam, this sarvam. Everything is controlled by the Lord. Everything, animate or inanimate. Here is explained that, Prabhupada will explain in purport that, that whatever exists, all the energies, whether it's spiritual, material, jivas, everything is under the control of the Lord. So he speaks, and then everything belongs to him, he controls everything, so you have your quota assigned by him. This is the message. No, one should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota. His quota refers to karma, you will see later on the explanation. And one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Kasya sweet of anyone's the wealth, the num. That is it. Magrida. Do not endeavor to gain. So this is the message. Actually, if we will see after Prabhupada says, if people could understand this one shloka of Isopanisad, all world would change. If you know everything belongs to God, then you act differently. Now you think everything belongs to me, or something belongs to me, but I want more and more and more. And obviously some people think that everything should belong to them. Remember Hitler, or Alexander the Great, or Obama, or like people like that. Ambitious. They want to control all world. But if they could read one shloka of Isopanisad, they could be saved from so much trouble, from so much harm. So this is the gist, this is the subject. Now, different acharyas, they divide Isopanisad into different sections. Vedānta-deśika, acharya in Ramanuja's line, he say first two shlokas are one group, the next few shlokas are another group, then the next few shlokas another, like that. Madhvācārya does the same thing also. He also divides into different 8 parts. Into 8 parts he divides this 18 shlokas of Isopanisad. So we will also do that. We will also do that because then it's easy to remember. It's easy to know which the text becomes easy, you know. Like we divide Gita, first 6 shlokas, first 6 chapters belongs to, we say, Karma Yoga. The next 6 chapters, Bhakti Yoga. Then the last 6 chapters, Jnana Yoga. And of course we know inside they are everywhere points of Bhakti included, but the general division is like this. So here we'll go to Srila Prabhupada's purport and try to give titles to paragraphs also. This is another easy way of studying. When you read one paragraph what Prabhupada said and think what is the main message, what is the main thing Prabhupada wants to tell us, explains here to us. So here we'll hear the translation. First paragraph, who read? What Prabhupada discussed about? You have your notes? You did? So what is the first paragraph all about?
In the Vedic knowledge is infallible.
Right. Prabhupada actually establishes that Vedic knowledge is infallible because it's coming down from the Lord through disciplic succession. And Isopanisad belongs to the Shruti, through the Vedas. So what is the first thing actually what Prabhupada does is he really establishes the credibility of the book, of the text we are studying. So I'll just show you the notes, how we did just a second, where we are, here. So first paragraph of Isopanisad actually establishes credibility of the book, explains that Isopanisad belongs to the Vedas and Vedas are infallible. You can see this briefly in the purport. Vedic knowledge is infallible because it comes down to the perfect disciplic succession, spiritual masters beginning with the Lord Himself. Since He spoke the first word of Vedic knowledge, the source of this knowledge is transcendental. Thus was spoken by Lord Apaurushaya. So we were already discussing this, Pratyaksha, Anuman, Shabda, Apaurushaya. So here, the 4 defects Prabhupada mentions, correct? So no one with these 4 defects can deliver perfect knowledge. The Vedas are not produced by such an imperfect creature. Prabhupada said. No. Vedic knowledge imparted into heart of Brahma, Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaya, and then Brahma given to the disciples. Okay, so first Prabhupada starts like this. Although the whole introduction, already he explains the credibility of Vedas. Remember the introduction? Now again, from the first shloka, because Prabhupada is really preaching to the Western world, he is going to print it and distribute it in the Western world. So people, again, they have to be reminded, why should I accept this? Here, this is the Vedas, you're studying the Vedas, you're hearing from the Vedas, you have to accept. The infallible knowledge coming from authorized source. How many times Prabhupada said that? It's unbelievable how many times Prabhupada said, we are not presenting whimsically, we are presenting from the authorities. It comes from Vedas, by Guru Parampara. We did not manufacture this knowledge. Okay. So then the second one, immediately Prabhupada discusses what? In second paragraph, anybody can say? Now you're reading, but you're supposed to do it. It's a homework. Yes?
Yeah, he's in Purnam, absolute Bhagavan.
Bhagavan is absolute, okay. But what is second paragraph really telling us?
Lord is the proprietor.
Right. Actually, what is it? He is telling the subject of the book. Now he introduced what is the subject of the book. If you read, you will see. Since the Lord is Purnam, all perfect, there is no possibility of him being subject to laws of material nature, which he controls. However, both the living entities and inanimate objects are controlled by laws of nature and ultimately by Lord's potency. This Isopanisad is part of Yajurveda and consequently it contains information concerning the proprietorship of all things existing in the universe. So basically he links with the first paragraph that Vedas are infallible, Isopanisad is part of Yajurveda and the contains information. He tells you what is the subject of the book. What is that? Concerning proprietorship of all things existing within the universe. And before that he explained also linked to that Purnam, that Lord is that Purnam which we invoked before, and He is the ultimate controller, and that He is going to do in details now. So basically, second paragraph, you may say, it gives the subject of the book, So, then the third paragraph. Here, he explains that Isopanisad concerns proprietorship of all these things. What are all those things? He explained, the Lord's proprietorship over everything in the universe is confirming Gita. What is in Gita said? 745. Para Prakriti, Apara Prakriti. What is this everything in the universe? Apara and Para Prakriti. Tell me one thing. Anything you say. The three. What is the three? Para or Apara Prakriti? Both. Okay. This is one way of saying things. Okay. Good. Well, sometimes Prabhupada says this. I'm the spirit soul encaged in the material body. So you may say we are both. So, what about stone? Stone is not conscious. So this is Apara. Yeah. And Para Prakriti? Jeeva, of course. So whatever exists, you can classify in these two categories, apart from the Lord. No, that you don't classify like that. No? Correct? So, Prabhupada explains, proprietorship of all things. What are these all things? Para and Apara Prakriti. The elements of nature, now he goes, explaining what is Apara, no? Elements of nature, earth, water, fire, ether, mind, intelligence, ego, all belong to those inferior material energy. No? Bhumi, apo, nalo, vayu, kama, buddhi, vacha, ahankara, ityame, bhinna, prakriti, ashtata. And then, aparaya, sitastvanya, prakriti, vidime, param, jiva, jiva bhuta. Jiva bhuta, para prakriti. Yeah. So here, where our living entities are organic energy, superior. Both of these practices or energies emanation from Lord, and ultimately He is the controller of everything that exists. So this is now proprietorship over what? Over these two energies. No? There is nothing in the universe that does not belong to either the para or apara prakriti. Therefore, everything is property of the Supreme Being. So you can see the flow, how Prabhupada preaches, how he explains. So this is, I put title, what are all the things that exist and who is the proprietor? This is how I put the subtitle, you can see here like this. Then it's easy notes, you can remember all purport. If you just read the titles, you can remember the purport. You get clear message, what is it? Is it that clear? Yes. Okay. Okay, the fourth paragraph. What is explained there?
How he is controlling his properties through his energies.
Right. Actually, yes. That Lord is controller of his potency, how he is controlling. Now, here is explained. Because Supreme Being, Absolute Personality Godhead, is complete person, He has complete and perfect intelligence to adjust everything by means of His different potencies. Now, this is very important. This is our philosophy described by Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura as Shakti Parinamavada. That Shankara proposed Vivartavada philosophy. You see, you have to come to that one day. Anyway, you have to do it. There are different philosophers propose Brahma Parinamavada. And our philosophy is Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, of course, but the philosophies of Shakti Parinamavada, the transformation of Lord's energy. Lord doesn't change. Everything is managed by the diffusion of His energies. His energies that do everything. He plays the flute. He's not changing. So this is important. And here, he means he has complete and perfect intelligence to adjust everything by means of his different potencies. How is it that example is given? The Supreme Being is often compared to fire, and everything organic and inorganic is compared to heat and light of that fire. Just as fire distributes energy in the form of heat and light, the Lord displays His energy in different ways. So fire is in one place, and heat and light, they spread around. But the source, the controller, is the fire, on whom depend, who is proprietor, that's the fire. He thus remains the ultimate controller, sustainer, and director of everything. He is possessor of all potencies, the knower of everything, and the benefactor of everyone. He is full of inconceivable opulence, power, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. So here, this is established how Lord, what Srinivas Krishna Prabhu says, how Lord controls those potencies. This is explained. So, I can show you briefly this. We can go really briefly to this point, because it's important to understand in a little bit of detail. If you know, then things become easier. Okay, and not complicate. Okay, here we go. Shakti Parinamavada. Now, what means Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva? Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva means that Lord is simultaneously different and equal from His potencies. What are the potencies? Chit, conscious, Achit or Asat, and material. How many potencies we have? Internal, external, and marginal. Correct? So Lord is simultaneously equal to those and different simultaneously. Just like Prabhupada says, I don't know, we are all Indians. You are all Indians. No? But that doesn't mean that you are Narendra Modi. No? He is also Indian, but again individuality is maintained within that. We are all same. You must say, we are all aspiring to be devotees. But again, we are again all different, simultaneously one and different. So Lord, because everything emanates from Him, Prabhupada gives example like sunshine, sun. Sun rises, not today, but sun rises is there, but is behind a cloud. But one day, say sunshine comes into your room, and what do you say? Sun has come. Sun in your room, it will burn you and the room. It's a sunshine, but sunshine is not different on the sun. Oh, let us not stand on the sun. Let us go in the shade. You are standing on the sun? Not on the sun planet. I am exposed to the sunrise. But we are using freely like that, because sunrise and sun are not different in one way. But there is a big difference. No? So, you know, Prabhupada told so many times this. So many examples of that. So simultaneously one and different. Now, and then how Lord controls everything, you know, through this Shakti. Shakti, Shakti Matur, Abheda. There is no difference. Shaktiman. Here. The definition are given from Sadananda Yogindra for Vedanta Sara. The perception of different object, when real object takes another form, is called parinama. Perception of different object, when there is actually no different object, is called vivarta. Why? These are two different philosophical schools of parinama and vivarta. Parinama is transformation of an object. Object itself gets transformed. Example of yogurt and milk. Milk transforms into yogurt. This is parinama. But vivarta is when you mistake one thing for another. Rope for a snake. You see the rope at night time and you think it is a snake. This is called vivartavada. So some philosophers say that Brahman parinamavada, that Brahman changes. He assumes the form of material world, he assumes the form of Jeeva. He's all Brahman, but he changes. And that is difficult to accept because Brahman is unchangeable. No? And anyway, it's a complex story. Shankara introduced this concept of vivarta. Actually, Brahman is changeless, but what is vivartavada means? You mistaken yourself. You think that I'm this body, you think I'm individual. You are misunderstanding that you are not Brahman, but actually you are Brahman. You are mistaking one thing for another. First you are mistaking I'm this body, which you are not. Second, you are mistaking that you are individual. You are not. We are all one. You heard that before? So this is Vivartavada. He said we mistaken one thing for another. So here, Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura explains, according to Shakti Parinamavada, Brahman is not transformed. Rather, it is Brahman's potency which can do any impossible things, that is transformed into atomic individual souls and into the perverted reflection that is material world. When Brahman desires, let the individual soul come into an existence. Numberless souls are manifested from his potency. When Brahman desires, let the material world come into existence. Material universes without limit are manifested from his potency. These things are not transformation of Brahman. So in this way, that description in Vedas that Brahman is not changeable. It's fulfilled, and also the whole creation is explained that it is the Lord's potencies are running around. Lord's potencies do everything. So here, Prabhupada says, the whole manifestation is the Lord himself by the fusion of his different energies only, namely the internal, external and marginal. Just as the sunlight is manifestation of energy of the sun planet, such energy is simultaneously one with and different from the Lord. Just as sunshine is simultaneously one and different from the sun planet. The energies are acting by combination, permutation, by the indication of the Lord. And the acting agents like Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva are also different incarnations of the Lord. In other words, there is nothing but the Lord, and still the Lord is different from all such manifest activities. So, because everything comes from Lord, you can say everything is Lord. But if you want to clearly distinguish, then you have to recognize these three energies and the Lord. So, Srila Jeeva Goswami gives another example. He says, there is a sun globe, sun disk, sunshine, and sun reflection in the shiny objects, in the mirror or in the gold or in the water. So he says that the sun globe is there is a person, Surya Narayan, there is a God personally there. Sun disks are all his avatars, his expansions. Sunshines are Jivas, and sun reflected in the shiny object, this is perverted reflection of material world. So he gives this example. It's similar, just added one more avatars there also. Okay, so here, Prabhupada says, the creation takes place by the fusion of his different energies. And as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam, he is everywhere present by his personal representation, the diffusion of his different energies. Lord is personally everywhere present by his personal representation. So, because energies, behind every energy there is energetic. We know Ganga is a river, but there is a Ganga person presiding deity of the river. Prithvi, earth, is a person. There is so many, behind any energy there is energetic, but all of them are under the Supreme Lord, who is Supreme Controller. Shakti, Shaktiman, Abheda. The power and the powerful are identical, no? But still we distinguish, no? So the problem is that with Mayavadis that they don't accept the Shaktis of the Lord. They say it's all Brahman. Why you are distinguishing? No? So this is where the difficulty comes. Now, from the Yadava Prakash and Bhaskara, they say that Brahma Parinamavada. Brahman itself transforms into the universe. And similar to that, later on Ramanujacharya explains that Vishishta Advaita. Advaita means oneness, Vishishta means very specific, very, very, how you say, concrete, you may say. Why? Oneness in what? One is that Lord exists eternally with his energies. Lord is there as a person, spiritual energy is there, marginal energy is there, material energy is there. All these form absolute truth. In that way, this is one. But Jiva remains individual forever. Material world is different from the Lord in that sense again. And energies are different from the Lord also. So this is called Vishishta-Advaita. So it's a modified Brahma Parinamavada. But Brahman as the base of illusory appearance of the universe is its material cause. This is what Mayavada says. That Brahman itself is actually taking these forms. So here, the shloka says, Natasya karyam karanam chavidate natas samarchabhyadikascha drishyate parasya shaktir vividaiva shruyate swabhaviki jnanam bala kriya cha. Now, this shloka basically is quoted so many times by Srila Prabhupada and explains this point. that no one is greater than Lord or equal to Him. His potencies are multifarious, and thus His deeds are automatically performed as natural sequence. Parasya Shaktir Vidyābhūṣaṇa. Lord has unlimited potency. Whatever He wills, everything is done. Everything is automatically carried over. And now this is Madhvācārya comments on Bhagavatam that following 16 spiritual energies are present in spiritual world. Principal energies are there. Shri, Bhu, Lila, Kanti, Kirti, Tushti, Gir, Pushti, Satya, Jnana, Jaya, Utkarshini, Vimala, Yoga Maya, Pravi, Ishana and Anugraha. In his comment on Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa said that the above energies are also known by 9 names. Vimala, Utkarshini, Jnana, Kriya, Yoga, Pravi, Satya, Ishana, Anugraha. And then again, you can see that in Bhagavad Sadarbha, Śrīla Jeeva Goswami describes these potencies again. Shri, Pushti, Gir, Kanti, Kirti, Tushti, Ila, Jaya, Vidya, Maya, Sambhit, Sandhini, Hladini, Bhakti, Murti, Vimala, Yoga, Pravi, Ishana, Anugraha. All these energies act in different spheres of the Lord's supremacy. So many potencies are there. So many. You can see they are just going on listing the potencies. Then, these potencies are described in Upanishads. Definitions is given. Chit Shakti, spiritual potency, is given Upanishad 1.3. The sages who have realized the absolute truth are steeped in the samadhi of deep meditation. In that state, they deliberate upon the transcendental qualities of the Supreme Lord. With their own pure intellect, they directly perceive the mystical and absolute spiritual potencies of the Lord. They are none different from the Lord Himself. These potencies arrange and initiate the entire spectrum of universal causes and effects, the control of the jivas, the natural phenomena, time and activities. Now you see definition of spiritual potencies, that from spiritual potencies all other potencies emanate. Actually, Lord has one potency. This is Swarupa Shakti, spiritual potency. From that potency, all other potencies expand. So here, this is the definition of Jiva Shakti. The Prakriti potency is mother of much progeny, the 3 modes of material nature, Sattva, white, Raja, red, and Tama, black. And therefrom, the 24 elements of this material nature. She is Swarupa, the energy of the Supreme Lord, and is His unborn eternal consort, and is not different from Him. She is being served and worshipped by another unborn personality, the conditioned Jiva, who is in his ignorance, considers himself the Purusha, enjoyer of her Prakriti, the material nature. Another unborn Purusha, the Jiva situated in knowledge, renounces the false attempts to enjoy her and thus attains liberation. So what is the definition of Jiva? Jiva is in illusion and ignorance, thinking I am enjoyer of material nature. And another Jiva is self-realized souls who understood that I am not enjoyer, I am servant of the Lord and he is eligible for moksha. And here definition of Maya Shakti. The Supreme Lord, controller of Maya, He has created this material universe with all its diversity, such as Vedas, sacrificial rituals, religious observances, past, present, future, time, and so on. The Vedas have recorded all this in every detail. The Jiva is placed in this universe where he comes into contact with Maya and is thereby caught and imprisoned by her. So what is Maya doing? It's catching Jiva and imprisoning. No? We know there's 2 different aspects of Maya. So here, the transcendental potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by which he maintains his existence is called Sandhini Shakti, existence potency. The transcendental potency by which he knows himself and causes others to know him is Samvit potency. And transcendental potency by which he possesses transcendental bliss and causes his devotees to have bliss is called Hladini potency. Now, this is how it comes from Krishna Swarupa Shakti or Chit Shakti. Expands into Vibhav, Prabhav and Anubhav. In Vibhav, there are expansion of Chit Shakti, Jiva Shakti and Maya Shakti again. Now this Chit Shakti and that Chit Shakti, there is a difference. That this Chit Shakti is totality, original spiritual potency. Here Chit Shakti refers really to the spiritual realm. Okay. Prabhava expands into Icha Shakti, Jnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti. and Anubhav and Sandhini, Samvit, Hladini. So these are principal divisions of potency. Now you see, when they act upon each other, Chit, understand, this is spiritual world. Jeeva, Chit is internal potency, Jeeva is marginal, and Maya is external potency. Now when you have Sandhini potency, the potency of existence, and Sambit, potency of knowledge, and Hladini, potency of pleasure, when they act in different realms, different things are produced. And then you can see how everything is done by potency of the Lord. Now you see Sandhini potency, existence potency. When it works in spiritual world, Krishna's forms, names, qualities, pastimes, everything is manifested. All the spiritual planets, Vrindavan, houses, all the places of pastimes, whatever spiritually exists is manifested by Sandhini potency, existence potency working in spiritual world. When this potency influences Jeeva, Jeeva's spiritual existence, name and place appear. Jeeva's Swarupa is fixed. No? And when this potency acts in material worlds are created, forms, qualities, actions. The Lord Balaram is presiding deity of Sandhini potencies. All, whatever exists is Lord Balaram's Shakti. Krishna's first expansion is Lord Balaram. And Krishna is Raso Isaha, Rasam Hevam, Labdhanandi Bhavati. He is the source of all pleasure. He is there to enjoy his pastimes. Eko Devo Nitya Lila Anurakto. In spiritual, Lord enjoys his pastimes. He expands into Lord Balaram his own expansion, Vishnu Tattva. But the Lord Balaram, he is there to facilitate pleasure to Lord Krishna. So immediately Lord Balaram manifests all existence. You can't say immediately because it never happened because of time, it's eternally present. But it's coming from Lord Balaram's potency, spiritual worlds. Vrindavan, Vaikuntha, Ayodhya, everything is manifested by Lord Balaram's potency. Lord Balaram expands into every paraphernalia. Mridanga is not different from Lord Balaram. The temple pillars, you will see on temple pillars design, you will see every single flower design is in the form of Ananta Shesha. If you see the lotuses on the top of the pillars, you will see that the petals are done as Ananta Shesha everywhere. You can see the nagas on the corners of the pillars represent the Ananta Shesha. You can see the on windows design is like this because it represents Ananta Shesha. Because Lord Balaram is manifestation of the temple. He maintains everything, he sustains everything. He's a spiritual potency. Just by seeing the temple, you can remember Lord Balaram. So, this is his potency. And then, from his Shakti also, all material worlds are created. Okay. Samvit, when knowledge potency manifests in spiritual moods, different flavors are manifested. Spiritual moods, the way we serve Krishna. When Samvit potency is manifested in Jeeva, the knowledge of God is manifested, and the bliss of Samadhi from Dhyana and Jnana Yoga. Now you can see yoga's bliss. It doesn't come from Hladini potency. It comes from Chit potency, Samvit potency, knowledge potency. It's a different from Hladini potency bliss. No? And here, when Samvit potency works in Maya, the worries, hopes, speculation, thoughts of the conditioned Jiva are manifested. No? All the material knowledge is manifested. No? Because it's complete opposite than what's supposed to be in spiritual world, you can see. No? When Hladini potency works in spiritual world, prema expands, correct? The Jiva experiences bliss from Bhakti Yoga. That bliss comes from Hladini potency. That yoga's bliss comes from Samvit potency. It's a big difference. No? And then, what happens when Hladini potency works in material world? Gross material bliss. We call it lust. Love. It's not love, it's lust. Gross material bliss and the subtle material happiness, like enjoyment in Swargaloka. Any enjoyment in material world is perverted reflection which comes from the spiritual world, from the spirit. So now, can you tell me anything that exists that is not somewhere inside of this table? Everything is covered. Of course, there are more details. This is very basic covering. But how? Everything runs by the diffusions of Krishna's potencies. You see? So here, Sandhini, Samvit, Hladini manifest their pure, full form in spiritual world, in Chit potency. In Jeeva Shakti, they appear in very minute quantity. And Maya Shakti, they appear in perverted form. So this is something to discuss. Okay, so this is about this third paragraph and the fourth paragraph that Lord is complete person and the controller of his potencies. That was discussed in this paragraph. So we continue next. Next paragraph. One should therefore be intelligent enough to know that except for the Lord, no one is proprietor of anything. One should accept only those things that are set aside by Lord as his quota. The cow, for instance, gives milk, but she does not drink milk. She eats grass and straw, and her milk is designated as a food for human beings. Such is the arrangement of the Lord. Thus, we should be satisfied with those things he has kindly set aside for us, and we should always consider to whom those things we possess actually belong. Now, actually, reality is that everything belongs to Lord. Everything means everything. Means this body, our senses, mind, intelligence, material world, inmate, animate, no? But you will see, those who hear Prabhupada's lecture on Isopanisad, that he asks that. So, we are animated or inmate? What does that say? Inanimate. Yeah. He's asking. So what we are?
Why jivas are superior, belong to superior prakriti?
Right. So that's the point, that we should know that Lord is owner of everything. Everything belongs to him. Everything. And then everything should be using his service. It's so simple, no? So here, in this fourth paragraph, no, this is the fifth one now. Knowing the Lord to be the ultimate proprietor, we should be satisfied with our quota. So Prabhupada gives the example of cow, and then he gives also example at the end. Laborer cannot claim proprietor of a thing just because he works hard to manufacture it. This is another very important point. Prabhupada says that we made our house with earth, wood, stone, iron, cement, and so many material things. If we think in terms of Isopanisad, we must know that we cannot produce any of these building materials ourselves. These are all taken from God. Correct? So now, imagine yourself. Our Bhagavad Prabhu is going to build a house now. I give him material, I give him sand, I give him brick, I give him iron, I give him place. I give him the labor. Well, he can do the labor. So I'll pay him for construction. But whose house it is? Huh? The person who signed the pata. But pata is Bhagavan's. Correct? Correct? Yeah, so you can't claim. Labor person cannot claim that he is proprietor. Correct? No, don't worry. You keep your house. No? So here, we can simply bring together materials, transform them into different shapes by our labor. A laborer cannot claim to be proprietor of things just because he has worked hard to manufacture it. Correct? It belongs to Lord. Oh, even our house, even your house. Everything belongs to Lord. It's a fact. You will see after Vishwan Chakravarti commentary on that. Very interesting, very, very nice. So here, the Prabhupada gives that example that you must understand everything belongs to Lord. Then immediately mentality changes. We are not exploiters. We are not anymore enjoyers of the material world. Completely different consciousness, no? Everything becomes different if you don't belongs to Lord. It's different. So here, now what is coming next? Now, applying principles of Isopanisad in the world. Now Prabhupada goes on explaining that he mentioned quarrel between laborers and capitalists. There can be no peace in communists or capitalists because all parties, communists are saying, everything belongs to people. Everything belongs to everyone. It's a good idea because they were thinking that These capitalists, they grab more land and exploit laborers. Correct. So laborer says, we work on land, land belongs to us. So Prabhupada said, but spiritual communism is, everyone is equal in front of God. So we are spiritual communists and everything belongs to God. So no quarrel. This is India, this is Pakistan. This is my country, this is your country. But actually both countries belongs to Krishna. So if we can understand this much, there will be no war. But you try to preach to them. To Pakistan. It's a little difficult to explain. No? But same thing Americans are doing, same thing everyone is doing. Huh? So here, what Prabhupada say? Nuclear bombs will ultimately ruin both parties if they don't accept. Now I don't want to read all the text, you already read it, no? So just hinting the point of paragraph. But you see the flow. Prabhupada explained. What is the point? Knowing Lord is ultimate proprietor, be satisfied with your quota and understand He is the owner of everything. Don't claim it is yours. So, apply it. Apply principle of Isopanisad in the life. And then, he goes on explaining, in this human form of life alone, you can live life of responsibility. It means humans can apply this principle. No? So Prabhupada says, cats and dogs can kill other animals for food, but there is no papa on them. This is sanctioned, this is their quota given to them. No? But if man kills an animal for satisfaction of his uncontrolled taste buds, he is responsible for breaking laws of nature. That is not food given, meat is not food given to man to eat. We can sustain on grains, vegetables, milk, Prabhupada said. Here, Prabhupada gives a funny analogy. The tiger does not eat rice and wheat or drink cow's milk. No? Tiger is not taking your quota. He's simply saying, tiger is not messing up. He knows what's his quota. We don't know what is our quota. No? Because he has given food in shape of animal flesh. No? Only man goes on transgressing and carrying, Among the many animals and birds, some are vegetarians, others are not. But none of them transgresses the law of nature, which have been ordained by the will of the Lord. You see? So there is a warning to the humans that cool down, stick to your quota. Don't take from others. And the last paragraph, human beings, standard of human life, cannot be applied to animals. Okay, here. Now, okay, so we'll become vegetarians. But Prabhupada says, no, not enough to become vegetarian. No? Veg also have life. And while it is nature's law that one living being is food for another, no? Point is, human beings has to recognize the Supreme Lord. You have to offer. A monkey is also vegetarian, Prabhupada said. But doesn't mean he's spiritually advanced. Because being vegetarian. And Prabhupada said, we don't go around and preach vegetarianism separately, like, some special camping, vegetarian. By understanding these principles of the Lord is proprietor and we have to live life as an offering to the Lord. Offer everything to the Lord, our life, our service, our thoughts, our everything. Then one becomes automatically vegetarian. That's not the main thing we preach. No? Thus, one should not be proud of being a strict vegetarian. No? So what is it? So here Prabhupada says, no, that animals do not have developed consciousness, but which they can recognize Lord. But human being is sufficiently intelligent to take lessons from Vedic literatures and thereby know how the laws of nature are working and derive profit from such a knowledge. We should know, if you eat food which is prohibited, you get the sin. And if you eat food, even vegetarian, which is not offered, bhunjante tvayagam papam, eating only sin, even if it's vegetarian. Of course, vegetarian is less sin than eating meat, but still, it's a sin. Offering must be done. Here. So, only those who act in this way can properly discharge the duties of human life. Now this is very important, that actually we have to live life, pure life, sinless life. Prabhupada said in that Bhagavad Gita 2.14, Matra Sparshas to Kanta and Purport, you will see, Prabhupada says that we follow 4 regulative principles to come to the platform of knowledge. And with knowledge and devotion, we can develop love of God and return home back to God. We follow 4 principles. No meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication. Why do we follow? We stop sinful life. We stop sinning. And then when you stop sinning, you're chanting Hare Krishna, you're getting purified. No? Then our consciousness is developing. The Vedic knowledge will be revealed. The Lord will reveal slowly, slowly. And then we can advance in such a way. There is no way here. Unless you act properly, there is no way that you will fulfill the purpose of human form of life, which is to develop love of God, which is to come out of material world. There's no way. There's no way. That's why we are displeased or disturbed when people from other religions say, our religion allows meat eating. What is a religion allowing sin? How is it possible? How is it possible? No? It's okay in our religion, but it's our religion, your religion, my religion. The principles of religion, Satyam, Shaucham, Daya and Tapa. These are basic principles of religion everybody has to follow. Purity, truthfulness, austerity and mercy. Karuna. No? It must be there. Whatever you call yourself, I belong to Muslim religion, I belong to Christian religion, I'm Jewish, I'm Buddhist, but you have to follow these 4. What is the question of advancing spiritual life? How is it possible? It means you are not recognizing this Isopanisad principle. Everything belongs to the Lord and I should get my quota and I should not disturb. I should not do sin. Because every time we transgress the laws of God, actually we are occurring a sin. Okay, so that is the paragraph, and then the conclusion. Prabhupada says, the root of sin is deliberate disobedience of the laws of nature through disagreeing the proprietorship of the Lord. What is the main problem in life? You don't accept that everything belongs to the Lord and we should follow His order. They don't accept. They don't accept. This is the root of the sin. Disobeying the laws of nature or the order of Lord brings ruin to human being. Conversely, one who is sober, who knows the laws of nature, who is not influenced by unnecessary attachment or aversion, is sure to be recognized by Lord and thus become eligible to go back home, back to Godhead, back to the eternal home. You see? So what is the result of following Isopanisad? We'll go home, back to Godhead. No. So this is the purport by Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so this is how he presents this first shloka in these different points. So you see, this is how it went. First he established the credibility of the book, Vedas. Then he said the subject of the book, proprietorship. Then what are these things Lord is controlling? Material energy, Jeeva energy, spiritual energy, everything. And how Lord controls the potencies. And if you know that, you should act, you should be satisfied with your quota, whatever comes. And when you apply in the life, unless they apply in the life, there will be quarrel, there will not be peace, and nuclear bombs will ultimately ruin both parties. No? And he's stressing, you have to apply this principle, you are human, you are not animal, you have to apply. Animal there is no sin, but for human there is a sin. And if you do that, you have to recognize Lord, offer everything and become devotee. That is the message, not just vegetarian, not just Monday moralist, okay? And if not, that is ruin the humankind, and if you do, go home back to Godhead. It's very nice flow, very clear message of the first shloka. Okay, did anybody see the lectures of Srila Prabhupada? Anybody heard? Yes, thank you very much. You also hear, you also hear. Two, how many lectures are there? Yeah, 6, but I think one is repeated, one is same text type, I think maybe, 5, something like that. And there are some more. Actually, they are partially published, not fully. Some portion is missing. So you can see Prabhupada preached so many times this principle of Isopanisad, so many times he's chanting this. That's the point. So here I have some quotes. Some quotes I have from the Prabhupada's lectures on Isopanisad. Few will read. This is simple definition. God is not controlled. God is controller of everything. If somebody claims that he is God, then first of all question whether you are controlled or not controlled. Prabhupada preached so much this in the West, so many times when he preached to common man. First he said, you are controlled or not controlled? This way, that way, then they have to admit they are controlled. Therefore you are not God. God is only controller. So here, common sense. Nobody can say that he is not controlled. I've seen a rascal. He has got a society and he is preaching that I'm God. But one day I saw him, he had some toothache. And he was doing, Prabhupada was laughing. So I questioned him that you claim that you are God and now you are simply under the control of toothache. So what kind of God you are? You see? Prabhupada said, simple thing. But it's not simple. These people are there. First time when I read in Prabhupada's books that people say, I'm God, and I was thinking, my God, who is the crazy person? I never heard in the West anything like that, somebody say, I'm God, Some lunatic, some mental fellow, But then after when I saw these people from the New Age, all this Mayavad, basically, it's a Mayavad. Then you came to India, there's so many gods, self-proclaimed gods. I'm not speaking about Vedic deities, I'm speaking about these lunatics who are claiming that they are God, no? How is it possible? There was a Sai Baba, Puttaparthi Sai Baba, he came to Bangalore and people wanted to have his darshan, they say, not to use these spiritual terms at all. And he came out in public, but this guard did not protect him, and this whole public rush on him, and he fell down and broke his hand. So the title in the newspapers next day appeared, the doctor advises 30 days rest for Bhagavan. That was good, Only foolish people cannot understand. He is also controlled. He is not independent. So these are some from lectures, Many quotes. Then the people say that show me God. Where is your God? But Prabhupada said, God is not cheap thing that by your order God will come and be seen by you. That is not possible. You must always know, He is Supreme Controller and I am also controlled by Him. So if you can please God by service, then He will reveal. This is the process of knowing God. It's a very good point. So many times people say, where is God? Who have seen God? Not you, definitely. Yeah? How can you say? Prabhupada say, have you seen? Because you've never seen the person who have seen the God. Therefore you claim nobody have seen God. No? So here, why people do not care for God? Look at this very nice point. Because para-prakriti is superior to apara-prakriti. Because we are exploiting this material energy, You see this. Because people are superior than matter. They are simply trying to exploit matter in a different way. But they are forgetting that either we may be American, Russian, China, India, we are all subordinate to God. This is the mistake. Krishna bulya Jeeva Bhagavan-Shakara. They have forgotten Krishna and they want to enjoy this material world. This is a disease. Now our duty is to invoke that Krishna consciousness, that you are superior, that is all right, but you are subordinate to Krishna. Because para-prakriti has this Jeeva, has this natural tendency to be happy. But Jeeva is trying to exploit material energy for his enjoyment. But actually Jeeva should serve God. And that's what Isopanisad says. Everything belongs to me. I'm controlling everything. You obey me, you'll be okay. So here Prabhupada is urging his disciples. You read every shloka, every mantra. Whenever you get time, you read the purport, you read the meaning. The whole philosophy is there. Now you are growing. There will be so many questions, so many philosophers. But our philosophy is so sound and solid that we can meet any philosopher of the world, any philosopher. But you have to learn it. The books are there. Your intelligence is there. The guidance is there. So Prabhupada is urging that everything, all our philosophy is in this one book, Isopanisad. And it's a fact. It's a fact. What is it? Mahatma Gandhi said that if all Vedas are lost and all the books are gone, and if we have only first sloka of Isopanisad preserved, the Hinduism will flourish. It's good. He appreciated. Here now similar shlokas appear in Srimad Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam is natural commentary on the Vedas. So here we have the shloka. Here the shloka 9, 8th canto, first chapter, Manus, administrators of the universe. Now this is really Manus, administrators of the universe. You know, I didn't expect in that chapter Isopanisad, essence of Isopanisad will be there, You know, the Manus, administrators of. So you usually come to that, Manu has this wife and this many children and this like this, and then second Manu like this goes on and goes on, no? So I thought, how surprising it's that in the middle of that chapter, in the beginning of the chapter, that the essence of Isopanisad is given. So we'll see now, we'll see the link, we'll see actually how this is so. See here, this is shloka 9, Manu said, Yena chetayante vishvam, vishvam chetayante nayam, yo jagrati shayanesmin, nayam tam veda vedasa. Manu said, the Supreme Living Being has created this material world of animation. It is not that he was created by this world. When everything is silent, means in pralaya, the Supreme Being always stays awake as a witness. The living entity does not know him, but he knows everything. Now this is first mantra revealed to the... And the purport is clear. That Jeeva, what it says first, Supreme Living is created the world, and when everything is silent, he is awakened. Jeeva does not know him, but he knows everything. First shloka establishes that Lord is creator and that he is different from the Jeeva. And then Prabhupada immediately quotes, what will he quote? Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam. Obviously he will quote Shastric evidence for that. Yes, of all eternal living entities there is one superior. Of all conscious living entities there is one superior. Eko Bahunam, one. Yo Vidadati Kaman, maintains all others. So here, the difference between Supreme Being and ordinary being is that when the material is annihilated, all the living entities remain silent in oblivion, in a dreaming or unconscious condition, whereas the Supreme Being always stays awake as the witness of everything. So you see, say now the time for pralaya comes, and we, unfortunately, some of us did not get moksha, still we did not develop love of God. So we are not eligible to go home back to Godhead, and the universe has been destroyed. Where do we go? We go back to the body of Mahavishnu, who is lying down on Karna ocean. And now, in the body of Mahavishnu, of course, we are staying in pure state, in the dormant state of Jeeva. Atma itself enters there. But all our subtle body, desires, karmas, everything that is left behind in Pradhana. So again, when creation takes place, Lord Shiva, who is presiding deity there, who impregnates Mahatattva, when new creation takes place, he gives us back our subtle body, our desires, and we continue where we stopped. In the meantime, we are in sleeping slumber. When Lord Mahavishnu sleeps, we also sleep. But he knows everything. Yoga Nidra of the Lord is fully conscious state. He is not really sleeping, he is enjoying Aprakata Lila, unmanifested pastimes with Lakshmi Devi. So there is no really ignorance for the Lord, no? Shankaracharya of Kanchi Mat came to Srirangam and said, he Lord is in Tamagun, he sleeps. All these local Shivaishan, they fired on him like anything. They quoted immediately, Yoga Nidra is transcendental slumber. It's not what you think, it's the pastimes of the Lord. They quoted like anything. He had to apologize publicly for that. Really, because they have no respect for the form of the Lord. That's their problem, you see. It comes out. They may do the installation of deities, they may bow down, they may have their own temples. But ultimately, they don't treat deities as we treat the deities, They don't believe in God. Believe it or not, that God is a person. I believe in him, but he is no person. and he has no qualities, and he has no form, then what is it? Like this. Okay, so here, then shloka 10. This is the shloka we want to see. Atma vasyam idam vishwam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magrida kasya svidhanam. It's the same shloka. Now you may say there is a Isha Vasya and here is a Atma Vasya. But here you will see commentaries after that Atma Vasyam, Atma here refers to Paramatma. Cannot be Atma Vasyam idam Vishwam because obviously we are not all pervading, Anybody? No. Prabhupada say Jeeva can know this body, these thoughts, this pain, these desires, but I cannot know your trouble and your pain, your body, your desires. But Paramatma knows all of it. That is the difference. But there are some people, Atma, you see, Atma, Jeeva, that's me. But you didn't realize it. You will never realize, don't worry. So here, now what I did, I studied the purport in the same manner as we did in Isopanisad. So here the translation. Within this universe, because this is particularly Atma Vasam, idam Vishwam, within this universe. The Supreme Personality Godhead in His super soul feature is present everywhere, wherever there is animate or inanimate beings. Therefore, one should accept only that which is allotted to him. One should not desire to infringe upon the property of others. It's the same shloka. It's the same message. Correct? In Bhagavatam. Is not Bhagavatam the commentary of Vedanta? Is it not Vedanta essence of Upanishads? So no wonder that we have shlokas like this here. Okay. Purport. Now look at this. The 1920. Okay. This is the purport. Having described the situation of Supreme Personality of Godhead as transcendental, first explain that Lord is transcendental. Swami Manu, for the instruction of sons and grandsons in his dynasty, is now describing all the property of the universe as belonging to Supreme Lord. Correct. So this is what I wrote in the notes. First point, everything belongs to God. He is the proprietor. Correct? What is that? Isha Vasyam idam sarvam. Same thing. Same point made, no? So here. And the Prabhupada quotes. Where I am here. Okay. Manu's instruction not only for his own girls, is for all of us. Manu means Manusha is been derived from the name Manu. For all members of human society are descending from Manu. Okay. Now, Prabhupada quotes. Imam vivasvate yogam proktavam aham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manur ikshva kave bravit. I instructed the imperishable science of yoga to Sun God, Krishna says, Vivasvan. And Vivasvan instructed to Manu. But this is Vivasvan son, Vaivasvata Manu. It's another Manu. Now, the father of mankind. And Manu in turn instructed to Ishwaku. Now, Swayambhuva Manu and Vaivasvata Manu have similar duties. Prabhupada immediately said, doesn't matter that Vivasvan instructed to Vaivasvata Manu. But same thing. He got revelation, he has the same duty, he is the same king, he is the same progenitor, Prajapati. Vaivasvata Manu was born of sun god Vivasvan and his son was Ishwaku, the king of earth. Since Manu is understood to be original father of humanity, human society should follow his instructions. So this is how Prabhupada explained. So what is the instruction? Swami Manu says that whatever exists, not only in the spiritual world, but even this material world, is the property of Supreme Lord who is present everywhere as super consciousness. And then Prabhupada quotes in Gita 13.3, Kshetragyam chapimam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. In every field, in other words, in every body, the Supreme Lord is a super soul. The individual soul is given body in which to live and act according to instruction of Supreme Person. Therefore, Supreme Person exists in all the body. We should not think that we are independent. Rather, we should understand that we are allotted a certain period of total property of Supreme Personal, certain portion of total property of the Lord. Just like you are renting a car. You rent a car and have fun for 8 hours. Then you return the car and pay the bill. No? All of us, we got this body. Can you keep it forever? Are you controller? Okay, hold it. How long you are going to hold? When time goes, okay, sir, thank you very much, get out. Ṭhākura. Finish. Who can stop? Nobody can stop. So what is the point? It is given by the Lord, is taken back by the Lord. In meantime, you have to act properly, utilize it properly. No? So here, this is what I wrote in that paragraph, that God is proprietor and is present everywhere. So Prabhupada quotes Gita, no? And we should not think that we are independent. This is so many times stressed by Srila Prabhupada, no? And here, Prabhupada goes on explaining. This understanding will lead to perfect communism. What is that? We should understand that we are allotted certain portion of total property of Supreme Lord. No? We had allotted our portion. Again, Prabhupada goes to the communists. The understanding will lead to perfect communism. No? So he says that the communist thinks in terms of their own nation, but the spiritual communism instructs here is not only nationwide, but universal. Nothing belongs to any nation or any individual person. Everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the meaning of this verse. No? Clearly he says. What is it? Hi Shavasyam idam sarvam. Atma vasyam idam vishvam. Same thing. Whatever exists within the universe is propriety of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, this is the Prabhupada solution again, no? Remember in that Isopanisad we had, first he gives the Lord is Supreme, he controls the energies, and then one should act like this, and these are the problem of life if you don't act, and then solution, no? So here also, Prabhupada said, the universal communism can solve all the problems of the world if you accept this, no? So here, this is what is in the notes, no? The spiritual communism should be applied. Applying the above principle of Isopanisad in the world life. Remember, we had the same point there, applying in life. Again, this is beauty of Prabhupada's purpose. That many times you will see today, even today, people speak on Gita, people speak on Bhagavatam, but they don't tell you what to do in life. That portion is missing. We have very good speaker in Tamil Nadu, belongs to Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. He's an excellent speaker. He's so knowledgeable. He tells everything right. He describes Lord and His potencies, and he describes the temples, and he describes why we do puja, and everything he describes. But there's no one word, what do we do in our life? There's no that urge, that push, you feel pressure reading Prabhupada's books. If you don't follow, consequences. You know? It's a responsible life. Human follower is responsible. One who does not follow four regulative principles is simply an animal. Is not considered a human being. I read in book, closed the book, fell down in depression. My goodness. Swami is calling me animal. I looked at myself in the mirror. I was looking like an animal. I had long hair. Untamed animal, you know. But it pushes you, it pinches you, it provokes you, you know. You have to follow, and make sense. No? It makes sense. So this is Prabhupada's unique purpose. This is really urging us, pushing us. You read, you become vegetarian. Forget it after reading Prabhupada's books, you know. After reading Life Comes from Life, I say, goodbye science, rascals. First 3 pages, why he's calling them rascals? But it's convincing, arguments are there, why he's calling them rascals. No? Therefore I say rascals. And you know, it's convincing. At the end of the book, I was rascals. So much. Yeah. First 3 pages was painful, sometimes pulling out an artha from the heart, you know. But Prabhupada is pushing. Your nonsense communism, your nonsense capitalism, your nonsense American, everything you do misunderstood. Therefore you will suffer. Nuclear bombs will ruin everyone. You follow God. You see what the preaching is urging us to follow. So here, again Prabhupada says, by understanding that everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this universal communism can solve all the problems of the world. Just by understanding everything belongs to Lord. This is so important. We have to preach the message. And then he goes on in this purport, he says, our body is also property of the Lord. One should learn from the Vedic literature that one's body is also not the property of individual soul, but is given to the individual soul according to his karma. And same thing, Acharya's quote. Your quote in Isopanisad refers to your karma. Madhvācārya says, you will see the commentary. Just clearly, exactly, you know. That is your quote. quota is given. No? And the last paragraph will be there. Prabhupada calls jnana is individual soul, everything belongs to Lord. Same, no? Same like in Isopanisad. Completely perfect, no? Again, we are building skyscrapers and developing material facilities. We should know, however, that the ingredients skyscraper machine. You see, again, he is speaking of ingredients. In the purport of Isopanisad, completely. You see, and it's not that he was looking, what did I write there, you know? It spontaneously comes because this is the point. This is the point. This is to understand Lord is proprietor of everything, material and spiritual. And you can't claim it is yours. No? So goes on. Skyscraper, transform earth, water, fire. Although the bricks may not be manufactured by man, the ingredients of bricks are not. Bricks are manufactured by man, but the ingredients are not. Of course, man as a manufacturer may accept a salary from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You have your quota. That's what he's saying. You do your duty, you get your quota. That's all. You see how problem? You get your salary, no problem. No? Tena tyaktena bunjita. One may construct a big skyscraper, but neither the constructor, nor the merchant, nor the worker can claim proprietorship. Proprietorship belongs to the person who spent for the building. You know? So, Supreme Lord has manufactured water, earth, air, fire, sky. One can use all these things and take a salary. You see the way? It's a very. You see, we are Kali Yuga people. We have no patience to read, to think. Even if you push somebody to read, if he reads, he must be simple to understand. And this is straight to the point. So clear and simple, you know. No, you don't claim. Our tendency to construct great buildings should be used only for constructing large and valuable temples in which to install the deity of Supreme Lord. Then our desire for construction will be fulfilled. I think next 10 lives there's no need for me constructing. For us here, those who are in construction team, they know enough of construction. Okay. So here, then he quotes, this is important. This important quote. Narada said to Maharaj Yudhishthira, Bhagavatam, one may claim proprietorship to as much wealth as required to maintain body and soul together. But one who desires proprietorship over more than that must be considered a thief, and he deserves to be punished by laws of nature. Industrialists came to Prabhupada. What business you are running? Oh, I have glass factory. Oh, glass factory. And where do you get the sand from? No, and he said, oh, glass factory, you are a thief. Swamiji, beg your pardon? You are a thief. He's smiling, you know, they're walking. I'm a thief. You manufacture glass. How you manufacture glass? Oh, Swamiji, from the quartz, from the sand. Where do you get sand from? You take it from Krishna. You stolen from Krishna. You are a thief, unless you recognize. No, you have to give. You have to give something in sacrifice. You have to. No? So here, how many times Prabhupada used this shloka? He calls them thieves, all thieves. Of course, we need to be maintained in eating, sleeping, mating, defending. But since Supreme Lord has provided necessities for even birds and bees, why not for mankind? Prabhupada says, elephant eats hundreds of kg of food. Many times he said, we are not working, we have no fixed salary. He said that we have also, he had to pay rent, $3,000 something, you know. He said, we don't have any saving, but we know every month Krishna will supply. No? And then he used to tell, we have so many centers, monthly we spend 25 lakhs, we distribute so many books, everybody comes. Come on, come, except for Saddam, we'll feed you, no problem. Prabhupada speaking, no problem. We can feed all the world, Prabhupada said. Huh? You see, faith in this principle that Lord will provide our quota. And then you look at this. Look at this, another jewel. There is no need for economic development. Everything is provided. What does it mean? It means go back to the village, go back to the farm, grow your own food, how much you need. No need to, provide things which are not necessary. Locally what grows, let you eat. South India, sambar, rasam. Eat whatever coconuts are there, whatever local. whatever earth gives. Milk is there, cows are there, that's it. No, I want strawberries. Then they comes by transport, then goes, we have that hotel in Dubai, Burj Al Arab, famous hotel. And that the famous thing in hotel, whatever you want, in 1 hour they will supply from anywhere in the world. They have private jet to supply you. So man is making menu. Okay, I want Swiss chocolate, I want strawberries from somewhere else, I want ice cream from Italy, I want, and in 1 hour they supply, But of course, in Dubai you must understand, nothing grows there, it's desert. they have to do it. But you see how crazy we live, no? How crazy life we live, No? Mangoes, when season comes, are 50 rupees kg. How much? 60 rupees kg. I say 100 rupees kg. Correct? And they're tasty, they're sweet, they're juicy, they're local, they're natural, they're just so good. The best. Prabhupada said, kings of fruit. Correct? King of fruits. No? And then, in same shop you have strawberry, coming from who God knows where, and you have the, what is that, Kabul pomegranate, 250 rupees. You have mountain bananas, 90 rupees. You have apples from California apples, 280 rupees. But who is crazy? Why you want to buy California apples 280 rupees? I don't know any taste. It's already 1 month in the container traveling around, And local mangoes, no? But still people buy. Grapes, Australian grapes, 300 rupees kg. And nice this, Gundu, Bengaluru, Malkoa, what a nice mangoes we have. And you see how foolish we are. Just locally grown, no? Papaya is growing like a bushes. Nobody planted, just growing on its own. And so tasty, no? No, we don't want papaya. Strawberries, dragon fruit, passion fruit. No nonsense. Why? We live local, no? Correct? But, and then life becomes simple. But for that you have to pay. You have to pay. You have to work. You have to pay. You have to get money. And this is what they do. Instead of working in the field and growing their own food and milking their own cow, now everything coming from somewhere. Crazy work. There is no need for economic development. Everything is provided. Okay. So now this is the attitude now. Therefore one should understand everything belongs to Krishna, and with this idea one may take prasad. Everything is prasad, not only the food. Wherever is offered to the Lord. And you will see, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, he explained. However, if one interferes with the allotments of others, he is a thief. We should not accept more than we actually need. Therefore, by chance we get an abundance of money. What do you do when you have extra money? We should always consider it belongs to Supreme Lord. In Krishna consciousness we are getting sufficient money, but we should never think that the money belongs to us. It belongs to Supreme Lord and should be equally distributed to the workers, the devotees. So temple gets money and temple should take care of all devotees. No? Should be distributed equally among the workers, Prabhupada said. Why among the workers? We are servants in Krishna's house. Whatever Lord provides, we are satisfied. But not that again in the temple somebody is using more and somebody is getting less. Correct? Not that, discrimination coming that way. No. No devotee should claim that any money or property belongs to him. If one thinks that any portion of property of this huge universe belongs to anyone, he is to be considered a thief and is punishable by laws of nature. Daivi yesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya. No? If human society unlawfully claims that the property of the universe, either partially or wholly, belongs to mankind, all human society will be cursed as a society of thieves and will be punished by the laws of nature. See that? The end of the purpose. Punch. No? That we should do. Okay. So now are we okay? We have few more minutes. So you can see the purpose, you could see this correlation. You could see the link between Upanishads and Bhagavatam. You could see that Bhagavatam is written after the Upanishads. And these essential points are given. In Bhagavatam 9 shlokas are given. Essence of Upanishad. Upanishad is 18. Bhagavatam 9. Essence of the essence, you must be given here. And here, Vishwan Chakravarti Thakur gives commentary also. Here, please see the screen, it's easier to follow like this. Is it big enough? This is better? Okay, he says, same. Atmavasyam idam vishwam yat kinchat jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita maghrida kasya svidhanam. Atma literally means one who moves or breathes. That is meaning of Atma. One who moves, breathes, alive. So, here by context refers to Chief Atma, the Supreme Lord. Because by context doesn't make sense that Jeeva is the Supreme Controller. Just 1 second. Okay, Vishwan Chakravarti Thakur. Here. Now, showing the nature of God as the controller. First he said that Lord is controller, he created the world and he controls. Manu teach sons and daughters. First point he says, whatever plays body and senses, plays body and senses, Jagat. Jagat means senses also. Exist in the three worlds, Jagatyam, are meant for the Lord to dwell in, Avasyam. Since they have been created by Lord for His pastimes. No? All this is created by Lord for His pleasure, for His pastimes. So, what is that? Place, any place, whatever place, whatever body, and the senses. Lord resides in all the three. Okay? So, Lord is dwelling, Avasya. Second point. Therefore, one should build the temple of Lord at various places and establish the deity worship. So he said those places should be provided for His pleasure. Then he says, look at this. Prabhupada says, workers, we are workers. Look at this. Taking His permission, with mentality of being His servant, one should build one's own house, which should be your inferior quality. It's a practical, no? First you build Lord temple, then you build your own house. Okay, and house should be inferior quality. And that was the system. It is not allowed that any building is higher than the temple Gopuram or the temple Shikhar. Of course, in Tamil Nadu there is not a problem because Gopurams are very big, But in North India, it's not allowed in the village. Nothing is higher than the temple Shikhar. Big issues. When these towers came, there was a big issue. And then ultimately they said, nobody lives there, nobody is above God, so they allow. There was a big controversy, at least in Gujarat, I remember. It was a big issue, They didn't allow. What? Temple, competition to the temple. Who is superior than God? They're big. It was almost scandal there, Building tower above the Gopuram, above the Shikhar. Okay, now, spending profusely on the Lord and His devotee. One should take what remains and use that for feeding oneself, one family, friends, and other worthy people. Look at the system. First you spend for the Lord and His devotees, and then one should take what remains and use that for feeding oneself and one's family. Nowadays it's opposite, no? First thing is family. Now I'm not speaking about devotees. Devotees they know that, but karmi, how do they do? First me, myself, and I. These three first are fed. And the family, inner family, wife and children. Then if something goes to relatives because of also interest or some friends because of interest, and temple is the last thing in the list, correct? Nowadays to people, the last thing. And then you come, sir, we are building temple. Why you are building temple? Because we are reading Isopanisad, which we understood. We have to build a temple. And why you are building your house? Your house is so opulent. We have in Salem at least few houses with swimming pools, few crores. Few crores? How many crores? Some are really opulent. I mean, no? So you've seen some houses in Salem, they're like, phew, really opulent. Why should they have? And then you ask him donation, and he gives you 10,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees, 1,000 rupees. How you can have a more opulent house than Hare Krishna, than the Lord? And here, Vishwan Chakravarti Thakur gives that idea, First spend on the Lord and His devotees, and one should take whatever remains and use that for feeding oneself and family, friends and people. Now, Vishwan Chakravarti Thakur said, but wife and children will not accept such conduct. Then, what is the answer? Scolding at them, Manu says, whose well it is? Kasa svidhanam. Actually, svid means it's a question. Whose wealth it is? Whose wealth is it? Whose wealth? No? So he says that, no? Kasya svidhanam. Svid indicates question. Though the wealth is in your house, whose is it? Except the Lord's. It's the Lord's wealth. So this is difficult because we become attached, Even sometimes you have a difficulty with the temple presidents. They don't give money also for milk, for cloth, for anything, They become possessive. They should not be like that. No? So, again, he quotes, Vishnu Chakravarti Ṭhākura quotes in the purport, that shloka, the thief shloka I call it, that Prabhupada also quote. Now you see how Prabhupada given purport. He knew Vishnu Chakravarti Ṭhākura's commentary, he included that shloka also, no? Or another meaning, Vishnu Chakravarti Ṭhākura say, do not hanker for anyone's else wealth, as it is described in Shruti mantra of Isopanisad. So he directly also gives the link. This is the same purport. We are discussing Atma Vasyam, Idam Vishwam, which is actually you may say the essence of Isopanisad. We are showing the link from first mantra to and this is Vishnu Chakravarti Ṭhākura's commentary, so it's very nice. So here he says, this visible world and whatever exists beyond perception is under the control of the Lord. Because of this, you should enjoy only what is allotted to you by the Lord through karma. Do not hanker for more than that. Whose property is it? Huh? So this is very nice in the form of question. Actually, whose property is it? It's the Lord's. Isha Vasyam, Idam Sarvam. Atma Vasyam, Idam Vishwam. No? Okay, we'll stop here. There is now Madhvācārya's commentary is coming, then Vedānta-deśika's commentary, then Baladeva Vidyābhūṣaṇa's commentary, Bhaktivinoda's commentary. So tomorrow we'll cover quickly, they are not too long, and then we'll go to Shloka 2. So please read the purpose. If you read the purpose, it's easy to follow, and then we'll see the links and like that. Okay. Hare Krishna. Do you have any questions? Yes. Comments, yes, please.
7:14:8 Shloka.
Okay.
This Bhagavatam is quoting.
Yes.
In that purport, Prabhupada says that he's quoting from Gita. He's saying that these are those who are trying to accumulate more than their quota. He's calling them as demons in the purport. And he's quoting from Gita, 16th chapter, the qualities of the demons, that the demons trying to accumulate more.
Right.
Very interesting.
Ishwaroham, Aham Bhogi, Siddhoham, Bhalavan Sukhi. So, okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai, Śrī Isopanisad ki jai, Gaur Premanand.